Hey everybody, welcome back. Jeff here. Decided it was time to do the 2-year review on the Kioti CK3510SE. This month will be 2 years now that we've had this tractor, and we want to answer the question, as I said in the thumbnail, did we make a mistake by getting this tractor versus numerous other brands that we explored. We're going to look over some of the add-ons, some of the additional add-ons. If you didn't watch the first video I did first video on the 1-year review, I'll put that link in the comments, and but you take a look at that. You'll see some of the add-ons and everything that we did there. But we're going to go over some additional add-ons that I've done, and maybe look at some of the ones that I had initially that I've modified a little bit. We got our friends over here in the background making a little noise, so you'll have to excuse that. But they seem to like the tractor, so we're going to let them do their thing while we come in close. We'll go over these add-ons, and then we'll try to answer that question. If this tractor was the right choice. Here's the little ones over here. We got Pearl going on over here, Hattie and Nettie. Kind of gave them some old school names there. But anyway, we lost little Gus. He was one of the pygmies, had some problems with bladder stones. So unfortunately we lost him about 6 months ago. Anyway, so getting back to the tractor here. You might have noticed in the first video I did, I had made a grill guard. Took some metal and just welded it up there to go inside the frame that goes around there. Seen a lot of nice ones online now that you can purchase, but I definitely recommend still, please put something inside this frame. If you're doing a lot of grapple work and stuff, eventually something's going to get you. But anyway, added a little Kioti cutout there. It was actually a piece of yard art that I got off of a website. It's one of those things where you got like your name underneath, and then you could order a logo of an animal or whatever to go on top. Kind of yard art stuff, but I just cut the name off the bottom and then attached that to the rear guard. I think it turned out pretty well. So anyway, that's one thing that I've added in addition. Another thing down here, you might see the D-rings right down below there that I've added for, if you need to tie down, putting it on a trailer, or if you need an assist, you get stuck or whatever, just rather than wrapping it around a bar or the axle or whatever, that gives it a nice point. I think that's made by like MGE products or something. I think it was like from, got it off, I think you can get it off of Amazon or eBay, about 50 to 60 bucks. Take the 4 bolts out of the grill guard there, and it bolts right on. Nice heavy duty add there. Let's see. Coming on around here, another thing that I've added is this little holder right here you see mounted to the tube that I have to keep my chains in there. Again, a lot of this stuff that I'm not going to really talk much about, it was in the first video, so please go back and watch that if you haven't. But this little, it's actually an ATV phone holder. I was initially keeping my phone in one of these little slots back here. You see, I would just stick it there, and with the engine running, it's kind of hard to hear and might miss a call or whatever. So I figured, let me see if I can set this camera down where I can kind of show you that it's like I say, an ATV phone holder. It's super strong. You clamp that bad boy right in there, and now kind of in your view if you're looking at the instrument panel. You also see the phone if you get a call or a text or whatever, or you can just glance down at it every once in a while and see if you got a missed call. So it works well. I've used it. It's pretty tight. I don't think. Initially, I was thinking about mounting it over here to the bar or something, but that was a little far out, and then if it fell off, it's immediately under the tire. At least if it were to fall out here, it's got a chance to hit the floorboard and maybe catch it before you run over it. So I don't know. On my original video, too, I had a couple of instruments right here, like a temperature, humidity gauge, but I just didn't like it. It just didn't look that well to me. So I ended up, I don't know if you can see this. Let me get up here. Getting one and mounting it. Kind of dark. I don't know if you can see that, right to the lip there on the canopy. So it's hard to get one on a tractor that's going to give you a true reading unless it's a overcast day or whatever, because the sun's going to be beating on that thing. But anyway, it works pretty well there. You know, even when it was down here, you got a lot of heat from the engine and coming under here that affect the temperature reading. But moving on along, I've had a lot of viewers inquire about the canopy. What is the manufacturer, or where did this canopy? This canopy came from the dealer. I told him I wanted the canopy with the tractor, so that came from the dealer, and I think it's made by Carver Equipment. So if you go to carverequipment.com, you can see on their website they have canopies listed there, and they got 3 or 4 different sizes: fiberglass, which is what this one is, and aluminum. Not sure the measurements of this, but anyway, I think they run $600 and up. So, it's a really nice canopy. Let's look around here. One other thing I've added right here, this is not my idea, this is something I saw on a tractor group. Seen where a lot of people have lost their gas cap or their fuel tank cap. You take this thing off, you set it up here, you get a phone call or whatever, you forget about it, you drive off, next thing you know, it's lost forever. I want to say that cap's $45–50. So basically a tether. This was something I found in a box I had. I think it's like a tether cord to like either a boat or a ATV or a jet ski, and I've got it clamped to the roll cage. It's had a super strong magnet in it, and I just got it clamped around that. So anyway, that just ensures you, when you take that gas cap off and lay it up there, that at least if you drive off and leave it off, you're not going to lose it. It might fall down and dangle around or whatever, but at least that gives you a way. And I think the one I saw in the tractor group, he had just like a piece of wire or fishing line, anything that you can put on there. This was just like drilled a little hole in the edge of this handle here and put a ring in there, like, a key ring circle there. So anyway, it serves the purpose and will ensure that you don't lose your gas cap. So moving on back here, this was again, something I had in the original video. I initially had this ammo box inside this basket, and I was just eating up space for nothing. I'm like, why don't I put it on the outside? So I did. I drilled a couple holes and mounted it on the outside, so it's a lot easier to get in and out too. This latch, with that being in the cage, is a little bit more difficult to grab hold of and open up. And just keep all the normal extra stuff you might need. These little things right here come in very handy. Rapid. They're heavy duty, like Velcro straps. There's about 3 different sizes on here. And I'll show you when we get back around up front. That's what I use to keep my hydraulic hoses out of the way for the grapple, when it connects to the third function. I'll show you that when we get up front. Something else I added on the back of this, I headed out one day and I needed to bring my extension ladder to do some work. And I had just laid it up here and tried to put it on with bungee cords, and it was just sliding all around. So Harbor Freight right here, a couple of these wall hangers, drilled the holes, hung that on the back. Now if I need to bring a ladder of any sort, extension ladder, step ladder, whatever, just hang it right on there. You really don't even have to worry about strapping it down. Take it along for the ride. Over here, this is something that I had in one of my videos when I was doing stuff with the pallet forks. This is a Titan Attachments hitch adapter. So that goes on the pallet fork. You just slide right on there and tighten your handle down. And then, hooking up to a trailer to move it around or whatever. You got the trailer hitch here with a pin, and then on here I also have the, the 3-way hitch adapter with the different size balls. So just as a cool way to keep it on you at all times, because I keep the pallet forks on the front of the tractor, quite a bit. So just a way to have that on board with me at all times. Over here, might be a little in the shade here, but that's the Kioti logo that was the other part of the yard art. So I just stuck that on the toolbox, and that was again, that's not the factory toolbox. So that was in the first video. So let's see, what else? Have I missed any of the other ads I have done? I think that covers most everything. Right here, where I was talking about those rapid straps, when you got the hoses coming off of the grapple, and and going up here to the third function, which is right here, I'll put 2 of those straps around this bar here, and just keep those lines from getting hung up down below, and sticks and stumps or whatever. Makes a nice way to store those. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention up front here, and I actually did a video on this. I know some of you may have seen it. The loader storage tube that I have right here. Initially, when I did my first video, I just had this, like some tools, metric wrenches and stuff in there. But let's see if I can get this thing out here. Give me just 1 second. Loosen this. Pull her out. So now I'm housing, and there again, I did a video on this. These are the loader stops that when you raise your loader up and you want to be safe about it, you put those right there to keep your loader from getting coming down and falling on you or anything like that. So there's, I just keep those. It's just a nice way to have them with you at all times if you're out in the field or whatever and you need to use it. So that's one thing that I modified from how I initially had it. I just initially had tools in there. So anyway, I think that covers most of the modifications that I've added in the last few months, and the things that I changed around from the way I originally had it. Got the bucket on here today, and I know this is very popular. Everybody, get some hooks welded on there, D-ring, whatever. That comes in very handy when you're out doing anything with the bucket and you need to strap something around it or whatever. So I definitely recommend those. Anyway, so now let's just go over and try to answer this question about, did we make the right choice on this tractor? I'm going to go over a couple of things that I see sort of as negatives, and then we'll, try to make the decision if it was the right choice. All right, so a few of the things that I kind of see as, I don't know, negatives, pet peeves, or rather have different, whatever you want to call it. 3-point lift on this tractor. It works great. I've had no problems with it, but it's just awkward. I talked a little bit about this before in a couple other videos when I compared this tractor to the Massey Ferguson that we have, which is sitting over there. Comparable in horsepower, but there's no comparison when it comes to the 3-point lift. When you lift this up, no matter what you got on there, and no matter how you play with the little lift knob right there that makes it go up and down slower or faster right here, no matter what you do with that, doesn't matter. When you lift this lift up, it's almost like it's robotic. It's almost like a 2-position thing. It's just jerky. You get used to it and you can work with it. It's not like you can't use it, but if you're doing precise work, it just is very awkward. Let's say if you doing grading work, it doesn't do this when you lower it down. It's just when you lift up. Rather than being a linear or modular modulating type valve, it's like a 2-position. It's open closed, so it makes it jerk when you're lifting it up. And it's not like that on if you haven't driven some of the other what I would call farm agricultural style tractors, you may not have an idea what I'm talking about, but there's no comparison. I was doing some work with the land plane, and I put it on the Kioti versus it being on a Massey. No comparison as far as being particular and smooth. And say if you had the boom pole on the back of this and you were trying to lift something up and get it, post into a small hole or something like that, it's just very awkward and jerky. So there again, it's not a deal breaker, but it's just different. It could be definitely improved, I think. If I had it to do over again, I think I would go with the R14 tires versus the R4s. As I've mentioned before, they're not the best tire in sand and mud. I have not had any problems getting stuck or whatever, but they definitely don't have the grip, I think, from what I've read, that the R14s do. They seem to be the more universal tire that everybody seems to like, kind of that in between the ag and these or whatever. But so they weren't as popular or as available when I first got this tractor, so I went with these. But anyway, not there again, not a deal breaker. But one other thing I wanted to mention, and I went over this in my first video, these bolts, I don't know if you call this like a retainer clip or protector around the grease fittings. You got 8 on each side of the loader here. As I mentioned in the first video, in the first, I don't know, 8 or 10 hours, these things started coming loose here. I don't know about these lock washers I got on here, but I took them out, all 16 of them, put a drop of blue Loctite, and nearly 2 years now, and have not had any other issues with any of them coming loose. So definitely would recommend that. I have not had any other issues with bolts on the wheels or loader frame or anything like that coming loose. So I'm not sure if that's, I've read a lot of stuff in tractor groups where that's been a problem. So I'm not sure if that's more of a dealer issue when they install it or what. So now, to answer the question, did I make a mistake? After 2 years of research, taking notes on all different brands of tractors, you know, comparing prices, reading comments in tractor groups, YouTube videos, nearly 200 hours now, absolutely 100%. If I had to go tomorrow and buy, I'll get this tractor again. It has performed flawlessly. I have not had any issues. Yeah, the few things I mentioned about loose bolts and stuff, which, you know, you can sit here all day long and go into a lot of these tractor groups. No matter what brand, there's issues. There's issues with all of them. I'm not sure how much of the issue is from the manufacturer or dealer versus the user. You know, these tractors are pretty tough. They're not bulldozers. You got to use it for its intended purpose. I think a lot of things get broken just because maybe somebody's pushing it a little too hard, ramming into something. It definitely has its limits, so you got to use it for what it's intended to do. But the lift capacity on this thing has been 1835 at the pin, but it has amazed me for this size tractor. When I first got it, I thought, man, that thing's a little small. I don't know if it's going to do what I want to do. It has more than performed. We've got about 115 acres here. We lease out the farm land. My son and I have that combined between his place and my place. So there's always something to do, around the we have a lot of property we still maintain around ponds, and this thing has just performed well. I've had no problems with the regens. If you're worried about that, from that 25 horsepower and up, I've seen a lot of people comment they don't want to worry of having to worry about the diesel and the regen stuff. So far, it's been about every 35 hours. The regens have been able to continue to work with no issues with that. So far, I am 100% completely happy with it. May give me a problem tomorrow, who knows? But anyway, so far I have been super pleased with it. So, not trying to tell anybody what brand of tractor to get. I say do your homework. Yes, having a good dealer that's close proximity and that you can trust and count on if there's a problem, it is definitely, I say, a big factor in that. But, and it gets back to talking about the durability of some of these things. Just like anything, they don't make things like they used to anymore. If you look at that 99 Massey over there, there's a lot of things on there that are built heavier, and I know, better than what's on this tractor. You don't hardly see any plastics, for knobs and buttons and things like that. But that's just a sign of the times. I mean, look at anything in your house, appliances or your automobiles. Nothing's made like they made it back in the day. But use it for its practical purpose. I think you get a lot of use out of it, a lot of years. And it's done me well. Look forward to many more years of service. So anyway, I hope this video helps. I love sharing the ideas, and I've learned a lot of ideas from other people on YouTube and the tractor groups and stuff. I really enjoy doing this kind of stuff. And by the way, if you're looking at me, I don't know if you could see this earlier, but I'm getting the right place. I'll be in my office if you can see my shirt the wife got me for Christmas last year. Anyway, please hit that subscribe button. Trying to get this thing up to 1,000 subscribers, and that would be great. I appreciate everybody. Appreciate the positive comments and feedback. It really makes you feel good, and just enjoy doing this kind of stuff and sharing ideas with everybody. Anyway, I reckon I better get back to the office and get busy. Catch you next time.